Today on Hytale, mud technology, in-game music tools, still no World Gen blog post, and more. Welcome to the Daily Hytale Update. I am your host, Muffled Muffin. Let's hop straight into the news. Starting with Oscar Garvin, Hytale's musical composer, who confirmed on Twitter that he's planned several schematics for how an in-game music creator could be made, and that the team has just gotta pick one. Which is lovely to see because now, along with some brilliant mods, we can have accompanying fan-made music. Hopefully this can allow creators like Slamma to also eventually make some money from Hytale, as I know tons of Hytale fans would instantly purchase an adventure mode music pack made by her. I can see myself using these tools to torture myself by playing What's the Fox Say on full blast every time I enter a Faron village. Oscar also discussed the possibility of somehow controlling musical instruments within Hytale with keyboards or MIDIs, which are like miniature pianos, to allow for the possibility of live concerts. Simon dropped this image of a crafting bench on the Hytale Discord, saying that their block game is beginning to feel like an RPG. We can see from the UI that this is a blacksmith's anvil, and the player is attempting to craft a mithril sword, but is being prevented because they need a tier 3 blacksmith's anvil. And also, they just have none of the resources they need. We also see that these swords are created using a combination of mithril ingots, storm leather, and void hearts. It's not clear what any of these items are, although my guess is that void hearts are obtained by killing void spawn, such as Colossus and Void Eyes. It's also interesting that this mithril is not iron, which Simon previously said was tier 3, so I wonder if mithril ingots are somehow forged using iron ingots and some other resource, explaining why they are considered a tier 3 tool. We can also see tabs to craft swords, maces, axes, daggers, and bows at the top of the page. Simon confirms that these are currently the only weapon types in the game, however there are a lot more that haven't been configured yet, but will be available for modders to use. It wouldn't be a surprise to me if weapon mods using Hytale's assets were some of the very first to be purchased by the Hytale team for implementation into the vanilla game, unless the team is only considering buying large-scale mods off of modders. Notable missing weapon classes include spears and javelins, two-handed swords. They may be included with swords, but if they were in the game, I would expect there to be 2 craftable mithril swords, one one-handed and one two-handed. Cleavers, single daggers. I don't see why the icon for daggers would be double daggers if single ones were in the game. Clubs, again, they may be included with maces, and hammers. So if you want to make a quick Hytale mod that will pop off right away, start brainstorming attack ideas for one of those classes right now, and perhaps you could be featured on one of the biggest starting PvP servers. The Hytale Twitter posted a screenshot of a swamp, where we can see a cool looking tree fort in the background and a snake in the foreground. When asked why the snake seems to have glitched into the mud block, Budokat confirmed that this was intended game design, and that mud had a lower collision box than other blocks to give the appearance of entities sinking in. Notably, this is a feature yoinked directly out of Minecraft, although giving the team the benefit of the doubt, this was probably first made around the same time as Minecraft mud was added in an update, is that this means that mud will potentially be very technologically significant to early Hytale. I know there will be no automation in early Hytale, but we all know people will still be trying to make automatic farms anyways. Partial blocks are significant in Minecraft for a number of reasons, mainly because they cause a glitch with minecarts. It causes them to phase through blocks onto rails that are placed directly below, which could feasibly also be glitch in Hytale, depending on how minecarts are programmed, but also because block games typically have a hard time when it comes to partial blocks, which can give them interesting properties regarding mob AI, mob spawning, and other unforeseeable applications, depending on how detailed Hytale quality assurance is. Only time will tell if this is actually a notable feature, or if I'm just coping with a lack of automation in Hytale, but subscribe and we'll try to find out as soon as humanly possible once Hytale releases. Buddha also mentioned that creators wanting an interview should email him at press@hytale.com, which is very annoying to me because I actually sent him an email to that exact address yesterday asking for an interview with a Hytale dev, and now it's just going to be buried by other people's identical emails now that people have been publicly invited to request interviews. Slikey spoke about custom avatars today, saying that you could be whatever you want, even a talking peanut in single player, but in multiplayer the server owner makes the rules. That said, the owner of the server will need to specifically upload the files to your skin, which will make using a custom avatar much more difficult and only really feasible on small scale servers. This is a bit of a tragedy to all of us Minecrafters who are used to having fully customizable skins, but is sensible from a business perspective as players who buy upgraded editions of the base game will get exclusive cosmetics, which would be meaningless if they could be recreated and distributed for free. It also prevents the issue of explicit skins, which would definitely be an issue in Hytale with the detailed textures and possibly even geometric avatar changes. Simon confirmed today that all the creative tools shown off in the summer 2022 blog post, including brushes and building editors, are in Hytale right now, with more added on top. There will be a video about this coming this week, probably in the creative tools blog post, although it's implied that it might be separate, so who knows, we'll keep an eye out for that. He followed that good news by saying the World Gen blog post was coming after the creative gameplay and blog post, as well as more impressively after the release date announcement, and that he wasn't sure on the timing of the blog post. Slikey also talked about World Gen, because apparently that's just a cool topic to talk about without sharing any of the info supposedly saved for this magical blog post. He said that height maps, which would allow map makers to tune the shape of the land without changing the world generation, especially being helpful for ore distribution underground, were not locally supported, but could be pulled off with a little bit of Java knowledge. Last but not least, somebody asked when one of my favorite Minecraft YouTube trends, 1000 players simulating civilization, would come to Hytale. The YouTuber they were asking forwarded the question to Simon, who sheepishly said, "Let me run some server stress tests first," laughing emoji. I assume 1000 players might be way off in Hytale for now, as Simon has spoken about frequent crashes even in single player, which I imagine would be way worsened with 1000 players. The minimap's player list also says player count is capped at 100 for now, so that seems to be a little out of the scope of Hytale. Hopefully hosting so many players on one server will become a possibility in the future, but I believe it is not within the scope of Hytale for early access launch, probably coming more towards a V1.0 release. That is all of today's news. If you want to be notified the moment the highly anticipated World Gen blog post releases, wait for GTA 6 to release, and then come to subscribe to my channel, and maybe it will drop within a couple years, in which case I will immediately cover it. Until next time, goodbye, and stay hypey. Subscribe!